to the podcast. Hi, hello, hi. We are here to give updates on the. Oh, let me turn this heater off. Epstein stuff. Hi.
Hello,
And the camera's
hello,
out of focus.
everyone.
Why did the camera go out of focus? Okay, we're back. Yeah, hi, we're back. We are going to talk about the Epstein stuff because some stuff has happened and there's stuff that is going to happen in the next uh just under 2 weeks. So we want to talk about it. Um,
Let
First,
me stop you here for a second. Is something going to happen? That's
yeah, no. So something is going to happen. It's just whether people will like what happens. That's the difference. Something will happen. It it's just a matter of, is it going to be the outcome that we all expect? So, and we can
or is
talk
it
about
going?
that.
Okay.
We can talk about that. So let's start with a precursor first. I'm going to share my screen real quick to show the article. So 2 weeks ago, we had the House Republicans and Democrats vote to release the Epstein files. And it was just before they were going to go on recess. Because if you don't remember, the House was trying to avoid voting on the Epstein stuff. And they ran away to go on recess. And then you have, what is that, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, saying he's going to spend his recess with his district and then immediately went to Israel,
Yeah.
where he's currently at right now, kissing the wall. But the House was going on recess, and the Democrats ran a swift vote to subpoena the Epstein files. They won 8-2, and it was the last floor vote of the month to leave for the August recess. Since then, now that was a vote to subpoena the articles, the documents. Because it went through, they then had to initiate a subpoena, which has occurred. House Oversight Committee subpoenas the Justice Department for the Epstein files. This was on August 5th. And so they have subpoenaed a variety of people. It's one of 11 formally issued subpoenas, calling for all documents and communications relating or referring to Epstein and Maxwell, including the information contained in their retrospective court cases by August 19th. So they have, from today, when we're recording this, they have a little less than 2 weeks to release for the due date. What the hell? Wait,
Oh,
why
you
did you get,
sure?
why am I big? Hold on, let's fix this. That was such a weird,
I just had a supersonic plane go. Sounded like going over the house.
oh, great. They're coming for you.
It could be that he's coming for everybody that says something against
Yeah, I
what
know.
he's been
I
doing.
know. So, but that's just to catch everyone up to speed. That's where we're at. August 19th is when the documents are supposed to be completely released. Now, various things are going on. Apparently, there is, as of today, August 6th, JD Vance is holding a emergency Epstein meeting with admins of the Trump members of the Trump administration. And on top of that, Pam Bondi has had over 1,000. Where are you going? Okay, well, till he gets back, I'll did you know that an elephant's wiener is as long as its body? Just saying. A little, did you know that a peacock mantis shrimp has a punch that's equal to a 22 gauge? They also have more receptor cones than us humans. They can see ultraviolet and infrared on top of what humans can see. Sorry, I was giving fun facts while you were gone. Um,
Now my battery all of a sudden started to go dead.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry about that,
No, you're
everyone.
good. The additional factor that I was going to add in was Pam Bondi had over 1,000 FBI agents go through Epstein documents because they knew these documents were going to have to be released and redact anything that has Trump's name in it. They've had to go through over 100,000 documents. 100,000 documents for 1,000. That means literally we're looking at 100, what is that? 100 documents per? I'm having a brain aneurysm here. Yeah, 100 documents per. Other way. Other way. Other way.
I,
No, other way. Yeah, there you go. Fixing his hat.
I think my head's shrinking.
Um yeah, sorry. I'm tired today. Yeah. 100 documents per person, 1,000 agents. Um but they're going through and redacting his stuff. Um, and I can't confirm this information that I'm about to say fully because I haven't done the research behind it, but I saw a video of Trump claiming or saying that apparently they are going through the documents and removing people's names that they don't want their reputation to be hurt. Meaning he's just straight up, or his administration is just redacting various people to protect them and their names. Now, what does this all mean? This is a topic that has been sweeping this country and is starting to infiltrate both parties, or has been infiltrating both parties. We're seeing a lot of Republicans starting to turn or starting to express distaste for Trump over these documents because these were some of the big one of the big things, like drain the swamp, get rid of the evil in this country. This was one of the big things. And the fact that he has not only been avoiding it, not talking about it, trying to move on from it, but he's also running cover for it and the people around it. And the gut shot excuse is, oh, well, there's also Democrats on it. And it's like every Democrat or left leaning person I've known is like, great, let's hear it. Like, for whatever reason, the Republicans, or the MAGAs, I should say, because they're different than Republicans, who side with Trump are willing to run cover and pass interference for Trump and his cronies, regardless of the fact that they may be heavily connected with such an awful human being. Uh, Versus, I don't think I've ever met a single left leaning person who is running cover for a left leaning politician. If we find out every left leaning person was involved with Epstein, let's burn it. Great, let's hear it. I want to know every person who's on that list. I don't care if it's left or right because I don't have a cultist hive mind mindset about my political party like a lot of MAGA people do. I'm happy to admit that either party is wrong because my goal is an objective forward, not a personal. So that all that being said, we run into multiple possibilities, but it boils down to really two. One, on August 19th, the documents get released. Two, August 19th, the documents don't get released. And then there's a problem. There's going to be a problem either way, realistically. I think because we're going to see either, let's say all the documents get released. 100% everything, video, audio, everything. And it's redacted or cut out and all the stuff that maybe Trump's involved with or his buddies are all cut out. That's going to be a huge problem. Everyone's going to be very, very upset, and it's going to make Trump look extremely, extremely guilty. Also, the fact that if out of 100,000 documents, if there's like, even if it's 500 pages, but if it's like 2,000 or 5,000 documents with, let's say, Trump's name and his buddies in there, and it's all just black sheets, you can guarantee that's also going to be a problem. Uh, Now, the other option is they don't release it, and then we find out how angry people can get because this is a topic that is really starting to, in an odd way, unite America because everyone wants this. Every single person that I know of that's on the common level, that's not a politician paid by APAC, that's not one of Trump's cronies, that's not Trump himself. All the common people want these documents released because objectively, this is a disgusting human being, not the Epstein. And anyone tied to him and anyone involved with his doings should be named and punished because that's a huge problem. So it's odd that he's been running so much cover, and for someone who seems to not be guilty, seems to be running a lot of cover and a lot of avoidance tactics around this topic, the documents, and so forth.
Yeah, well, Trump denies prior knowledge of Epstein's crimes. He says I'm reading from an article.
Yeah,
He says he cut off their relationship long ago. Meanwhile, again, the federal prosecutors are asking in court to unseal, as you said, the grand jury transcripts and the sex trafficking case against Epstein and his ex girlfriend. But they say there's not much new in them. Uh, One of the things that bothers me is I think they just took Epstein's ex girlfriend and moved her to a low security prison, which you usually do not do
a
in
judge
cases
waived
of,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Ghislaine Maxwell was in a high security prison, cameras and everything. She was just moved to a low security prison in Texas where there's no cameras and there's no coverage of her well-being and so forth. And because she is a high profile alleged sex trafficker, or is it still alleged at this point, or was she? I think it's still alleged, or maybe it's not. Maybe she's been tried as. I don't remember, but she's a high profile, dangerous person, um, and legally she's not allowed to be put in those places. But a judge knew that this was not legal and waived it anyways, and so she's been moved to a low security prison in Texas. Um,
yeah, I think we all want to hear the truth, but I don't think we're going to get the truth.
I think at
Uh,
best we'll get the half truth. I like
yeah,
again, I think at best, like I said, we're either going to end up with heavily, heavily, heavily redacted documents uh, that are only going to infuriate the public more because if you have 100,000 documents and 45,000 of them are redacted and the other unredacted is just all Democrats, it's like, okay, we get it. We understand. And unfortunately, even the dumbest of rocks in this country will understand what that looks like. And it's not going to satisfy the public in my eyes. Uh,
well, like we said on our last podcast, uh, one of the strategies that our president has is to defray interest in something that is important, is to bring up something that's not important and try
yeah,
to make it important.
Yeah, start chaos and have people bicker about
Yeah.
little things. That's why he went on the roof of the White House yesterday, because some major article came out regarding the Epstein stuff. And then hours later, he was doing his little dance on the roof of the White House. I don't think I've ever seen a president on the roof of the White House in my life. And I don't think you've seen one in your life. So,
No,
but
I
he
thought he was
did.
going to jump.
I would have been nice, but he was he was doing that to make headlines because no one's ever done that, right?
Yeah.
Um, but
But you could
that
see, you could see that. I mean, you don't have to be blind. And excuse me, I'm not making fun of anybody who is sight impaired, but anybody from newscasters at night to newscasters in the morning news to journalists. Uh, he's attacking everybody and anybody. And some of the people I read some of the people in the Republican Party who are not afraid of him are starting to get disgusted, saying he's getting involved in everything. And
yeah
in Jewish, we have an expression when somebody's involved in anything, they're a yenta. That means they got to know everybody's business. But in his case, it seems that he wants to change things that he shouldn't be involved with.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, that is in lieu of what I have been reading from a lot of journalists and commentators who claim America is not entering an authoritarian state, which some believe because of a lot of the tactics and things that Trump is doing, but we are entering a corporate feudalist state, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
which
This
is
morning,
power to the corporate overlords type concept.
this morning, the internet, and again, it's the internet, not me, says that now he's using his like uh, he always goes. He makes a derogatory remark. He said Gail King of CBS News of the their show in the morning, who's been on for so many years, is not talented, and where he helped get some of the CBS people supposedly get them canceled at night.
Yeah, of
Now
course. Well, he's he got Colbert removed, and
he'll
um,
probably
like
be
that's
going after the Jimmies at night.
yeah. Well, and he's installing a media bias on CBS. Um, he's it's very authoritarian style. Uh, Again, this is the camps that are in Florida are the same thing historically. Um, but
So
there's a thought process that we are going to go right through authoritarianism and enter into corporate feudalism.
yeah,
Uh,
we're going to get rid of public communication.
well,
Uh,
they're doing that across the globe right now. That's something that I
Terrible.
that's probably one of the few things that has genuinely stunned me in the past couple of years. Um, over the span of I think it was like a week, multiple countries just enacted mass censorship and surveillance. Australia, UK, the EU, uh, and well, the EU's in talks. UK did it, Australia did it. Canada's been in talks for about 2 years, and the US is doing it with YouTube. So the UK made a bill or an act to protect the kids, and it was to add digital IDs to verify that you are an adult. Immediately, days later, they started enacting extra bills and extra laws that have nothing to do with kids and has to do with more censorship of the internet as well as more surveillance. Australia has been doing the same thing. EU is testing out their own version of a digital ID, but it's not public yet. The US is on, I think it's August 13th. YouTube is going to require identification for anyone over 13 to prove that you are allowed on that thing, even though they already have a YouTube Kids. But this all happened, mind you, they've been talking about this for years, right? The UK has had the Online Safety Act, I think that's what it's called, and they added a like child protection addendum recently. But they've had the Online Safety Act has been a thing since I think 2023. But within the span of a week or and change, multiple countries just dropped these mass censorships that came into effect, like the UK right now. People are finding ways to go around it, and they're trying to use VPNs. They're using pictures of video game characters that are realistic to trick the systems, and it, it it's unfortunately the fact is this is not to protect children. This is to surveil and to control the internet. Because when you can get, I believe it was 300,000 people in Australia to protest on their bridge for Palestine a couple days ago, you can thank the help of the internet. You can thank the help of mass communication. Mass communication, it has historically been a problem for controlling governments and governments that are trying to build some type of not authoritarian, but just for lack of a better term, controlling governments. We saw this with I think it was Napoleon who reestablished licenses for printing presses. Or I might be getting that wrong. Um, it was it was the French Revolution. I may be mixing up my histories, but I believe the French Revolution. Printing presses were not required to have licenses. People started producing stuff, all types of books, and anyone could use a printing press and make one. And radical ideologies started coming out, both good and bad. And it was not good. It was causing chaos for a government that wanted to control their people. So they added licenses to printing presses. I believe that was the French Revolution, but I'm not 100%. But I know that printing press thing was a fact. So similarly, with mass communication on the digital field, you are seeing countries starting to enact mass censorship and surveillance because they don't like how much control the public is getting. Um, and also, like in lieu of the surveillance, you can nip it in the bud. Because if you have to ID yourself every time you go on the internet, there's no way that you can start a rally or a protest for anything.
But you
Because
can.
not on the internet, you'd have to do it by hand. You'd have to do it by flyers. You'd have to do it in secret
No, no,
or
no.
by
Let me
word of
tell you.
mouth.
Or you could do it on TV. Example, South Park. South Park is denigrating the President of the United States.
Right, but you have to have a platform that's that big. As you have, if we have a
South
president,
Park. South Park
yes,
is.
yes, but what I'm saying is if South Park doesn't do it and no one else is, you have to be willing to risk your job. You have to be willing to risk your career. You have to be willing to risk that this is the last show you'll ever make. And as you have to be aware of those things. So now add on top of that, let's say at the end of this year, he removes South Park completely. And now there's no more South Park episodes. Someone else has to now build the courage to make fun of him, talk about him, and give information that is in protest of him. If he eventually removes every single one of these people, there is now no mass platform to do this on. So the result is it would have to be done through word of mouth, through physical, through flyers, and so forth, which is not impossible, but it's harder. And it's easier to have camps in Alligator Alcatraz without people knowing. It's easier to instill authoritarian tactics like those without having mass eyeballs on it so that it can go faster, so that people don't protest, so that you don't have House members aware of these situations and voting against it. You can just keep going. That's the point. That's why it's going in
Yeah,
that
well,
direction.
eventually, if that keeps happening, we're going to have Trump TV.
Yeah, 100%.
Trump
Absolutely.
TV.
And this is we're entering a bit of slippery slope content here, but I would argue also with how Trump has ran his campaign and entered office, he has made this a viable path through active documented evidence of him using authoritarian tactics.
So
Uh,
let me get back to how this all relates to Epstein.
yeah,
Uh,
that man's willing to nuke Russia if it means avoiding the Epstein files. So
yeah, and even if bad news comes down, he can exonerate himself.
it
So
doesn't, I disagree. I think this is a topic that this is such it's a unique topic in that this was a horrendous and awful human being who apparently has connections to global leaders, global. Like, we're not just talking like the Western world, global leaders, and especially the US, specifically the US, multiple, many, and multiple in the US. He was caught in Trump's presidency. He was jailed in Trump's presidency, and he was killed during Trump's presidency. Killed. He killed. He ended his own life. Yeah, sure. Uh, for him now, oh, why didn't the Democrats release the documents? doesn't matter. I agree. They should have released it. It was a problem. But it's also now a problem that he's doing everything he can to avoid releasing it. But we've entered this unique situation where the Fox News had edited a video of him during an interview saying that he would release the documents if he was elected president. The full video says him saying that, and then 12 seconds later, backtrack. He says, "Oh yeah, we'll release the Epstein files, the Martin Luther King Jr. files, and the JFK files." And then 2 seconds later, he goes, "Well, maybe we'll see about the Epstein files. We'll see."
Yeah.
But
Well,
they cut that out, and so the public, the people who watch Fox News, ran with the cut video and said he's going to release the Epstein files. That's one of the worst people in the world. Let's bring to light Pizzagate. Let's bring to light the corrupt Democrats because Trump's not that bad. He wasn't that he was affiliated with him, but he got rid of Epstein early on. A lie. The article you read earlier, he got rid of him something like 7 years. When he got rid of him was like 7 years after all of the issues started coming up about him. So they're like him kicking him out of his club meant nothing in actual context, but
and
it sparked this it created this embryo of focus that grew, and more people, because a lot of MAGA people are involved with conspiracies and things that don't have enough information. And this was one that was tied to so many conspiracies that it blew up. And then he entered office, no, and they started talking about it. And Pam Bondi said, "It's on my desk as we speak." And she fed the fire. And then it put eyes on everyone. And then they haven't done anything about it. And Trump has made bad decision after bad decision, doing everything he can to avoid talking about it, telling people stop talking about it. And
well,
it has created the inverse effect where everyone needs to know about it. And given how hard he's tried to hide it, reveals how detrimental this is going to be, not only for him, but for the country. And that's why so many people want it, because the country itself is at a boiling point. Everyone in this country is dysregulated and chaotic and not feeling good.
yeah, well, the
And
House Oversight Committee, has subpoenaed the Justice Department for the files. Uh, as we said in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation, and is seeking depositions with the Clintons and former law enforcement officials. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and 8 former top law enforcement officials.
yeah,
Uh, oh boy. Uh,
but that's the point, right? Like there are so many high profile names, including Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk, Trump, the Clintons, Bush, whoever else. Uh, all of these names, people for a long time, you've got the right who are heavily involved in a lot of conspiracies and Pizzagate and the America's run by a cabal of whatever. And then you just have everyone else who's like, hey, this is just a bad thing. But everyone wants to know, because if at the end of the day, this reveals that a significant section of our American government is run by these people, it's going to cause some mass problems. I'd be like, I'll be very surprised if there are not mass riots and mass problems. I'm not inviting this. I'm expecting this just off of the way these conversations have been going and the way that people talk about these things and the way that Trump and his administration have so hard pushed for Christian values, protecting the kids, and calling certain demographics people who are interested in children. I don't know if I can say that the word. Um, People on the internet call it PDF files. um, but they've run on these for years in his first presidency and in this current one. For that to be flipped on its head, or just involve him, not even flipped on his head, but incorporate the people he's talking about as well as himself, it it is going to really like I'm under the impression that this will upend America. Now, whether it actually does or not, I don't know. But I that's my impression, and I think that's why they're part of the reason why they're doing so much work to hide it because there are people, so many people, and so many high profile people that are tied to this. And the fact that this may reveal foreign politics as well. This is most definitely not just an isolated US thing. Epstein's has had foreign leaders in as well, but
Well, it's Prince
this
Andrew.
right, but and so this could turn into revealing information about various other things and how various things in this country historically have occurred and why they occurred due to foreign influence, due to what happened with Epstein. This is all speculation because I don't have the files on my hands, but that's what I believe. And that's why I believe this has been such a insanely monumental effort to hide. And it's crazy. It really is
Well,
crazy.
a lot of the people, if they show up on the list, will say, "Look, uh, we like sex, we like women, we like men, uh, but we don't like underage men and women, and we don't like trafficking. So we had nothing to do with that."
Yeah, that at that point it doesn't matter. At that
Yeah,
point, it does not matter because it there's going to be a significant amount of people that are going to be reactionary, and the moment they see anyone's name tied to him, they're going to have a blow up and say this person's bad. Are there plenty of people who are tied to him that maybe met Epstein once at a party, at like a Trump ball or gala or something? Sure. And they never spoke to him again, or they took one picture with him and never spoke to him again. Sure. Are there people who may have gone to one of his parties where there was adults and that was it? Maybe,
or
maybe.
in his plane with him.
Right. Well, the plane, but my
To
my point
deplane, to deplane.
my point is there's probably a very small amount of people on these lists that were involved with him,
Yeah.
whether it was once or twice at most, that didn't know what he was doing. Everyone else who's been involved multiple times, in my book, there's no world where you can be involved with a man like this, where you've been to these parties and been with him for three, four, five times, and
Yeah.
somehow didn't know that he was also doing this other thing on the side.
Yeah, they
So,
may be stupid, but they're not dumb,
right.
you know. And again, what we talked about previously, oh, way, way back. I mean, we've had about 80 videos already, was uh, politicians are legalized criminals.
Yeah.
Uh, when I look at this, uh, and I don't like to say anybody is guilty before getting the evidence, but you know, it's a terrible thing to know that if somebody is guilty, they can just squash it all. I mean, I want to see, and this is apart from it. I, the president's getting involved in everything, and Diddy just asked him to pardon him. Okay, now if he pardons Diddy, there could be a lot of thoughts on that, which I won't even get into. I mean, why would you pardon somebody for prostitution and sex trafficking? Why would the president of the United States get involved with that?
Well, why would he pardon all the January Sixers? He pardoned all January Sixers, and I think it's like, I think the percentage rate right now is like 40% of them are being rearrested for major crimes and like child touching and stuff like that. Because I've seen over the past couple of months various headlines about it, but I think the number is like 40%. So yeah, why would he pardon January Sixers? Why would he pardon P. Diddy? Why would he possibly pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? Because that's what she's going for. She's
Yeah,
she's vying for a pardon.
yeah.
Why
Well,
why like
nothing would surprise me.
it, it's
Nothing would surprise me at all.
every action. It if he's not guilty, release them. If he's not guilty, release him unredacted. That's it. Truly, truly and honestly. There is no other way around this. In that there's no other way that he comes out not guilty. If
Somebody's going to get bitten in the ass. I'll tell you that.
if he's not guilty, unredacted, release everything. And you we'll never get that because we know that he's involved. We know because there's ample videos and ample. He wrote a letter saying something about, glad we can have our secrets, and he wrote his name as the pubes of the woman. He's
But
got
eventually,
videos and pictures, and apparently Epstein took 16-year-olds from Trump's golf course and uh, at Trump's modeling things. Epstein was at those and would look for people. Like, we know, we know, we know. And if the answer is genuinely innocent, then release him. Like that, it's just plain and simple. And the fact that he's not, every decision is a poisonous one. Every single decision that he makes that is not in line with releasing it only deepens the burr. It only deepens that poison dart.
I don't know if he was dumb enough to do something bad like that. I can see him doing something with an older person, but not with a younger person. I don't know.
I think that's your
I'm naive, huh?
I think that's your desire to try and maintain the structures of America a little bit because you don't want to accept the fact that it can crumble.
Could be. The problem is I keep thinking of all the charges that were brought by the Southern District Court of New York against him, and nothing with nothing. So
Again, I think this is
great.
different. I think this is different because the public will take action. That's why. So,
We got different parts of this country, and I can't see the public taking prolonged action that he can't squash if it's needed for him to squash something. And
we'll see.
I believe you're innocent until you're proven guilty. And unfortunately, our society has become making people guilty before they're innocent. And
That's fair.
I just want to make one statement
Hold
that's
on, hold
really
on. Okay, Sarah, we're back. I had to change the tape.
okay.
Uh, so you said you had one thing you wanted to say?
it's not in reference to Epstein. It's in reference to what people say that are really Trump supporters. It's no matter what happens, whatever is said, it's false news,
Fake news, yeah.
fake news. So you can't win for losing. And uh, hopefully, what I would like to see, apart from this Epstein stuff, is all these people that are intense right now and being sent out of our country. I hope that the criminals that are justified criminals get sent away. But I hope that we devise a system where the innocents aren't even kept in these tents. So I want to see what happens over the next month or two because they're not streamlining it, they're expanding it.
Well,
And,
they're expanding it because Trump himself put a bounty of, I think it's 3,000 detain, excuse me, 3,000 a day that he wanted to detain and deport. Um, I saw a statement from yesterday that he wants to reduce that number now. But the it's never been about the criminals. They detained a Maine police officer.
Yeah. And you saw what happened.
They
You,
detained a police officer though.
yeah.
He's a legal immigrant. As per the Department of Homeland Security themselves, they said he has legal right to work here. He's a police officer in Maine and he was detained. That's just one example of many legal immigrants who are being detained who do
Yeah.
not have criminal charges.
Does our system of checks and balances
No,
work? No.
no,
And
no.
no. And
As seen through the Supreme Court, as seen through the filibusters, as seen through Mike Johnson, as seen through Trump himself, as seen through all of the executive orders in the past 6 months.
so let's hope that over the next few months we have a correction, and good things start happening. I mean, look what happened. Bad numbers came as far as unemployment. Bad numbers came out as far as inflation. Uh, and what does he do? He fires the person in charge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the most North
Yeah,
Korean response you could ever do. Uh, the
yeah,
numbers are wrong. Ah, fired,
yeah,
as if she's the one doing those numbers.
yeah. It's like a patient going to the doctor, and
Why am I blurry?
the doctor the doctor says you got 6 months to live, and the patient says, "Oh, I can't afford to pay my bill in 6 months." He says, "Oh, I'll give you a year to live." It's like he can say and do whatever he wants,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
know it's
he gave himself he gave himself virtually immunity from all these things, which is hilarious because uh he gave himself immunity from all problems, right?
yeah,
I don't think a lot of people realized when he tried to deflect to the Obama Russia collusion thing from 2016. Even if, even if by some grace he is right, and this is really like Obama was involved with Russia, even if that was genuinely an actual thing, he can't do anything about it. He gave Obama immunity. He gave presidents immunity. So they
yeah.
can't like unless he tries them at a state level, he
I know,
it was
I
such a
know,
useless thing.
I know not what I do, right?
It was
I know not what I do is the defense. I know not what I do.
it was just but my point though is like to further the aspect of these are just distractions from the Epstein
Yeah,
stuff. He can't even go after Obama, but he's making a big thing about it. Like we obviously like there's it was already found that Russia was involved with the election, but it was found during Trump's administration that they were involved with helping him. And it wasn't through the voting machines, it was through advertisements. That's what I believe that's what the Facebook something Analytica, Cambridge Analytica. I believe that's what that was about. Was Russia positioning posts and ads to sway elections? That was found during his presidency. So
yeah.
the not only is it false and all the Obama collusion stuff is false, but even if by some random chance it was factual, he can't go after him. He gave him immunity. So like it's all bullcrap. It's all useless. It's all a waste of time. And it's all a push to hide the fact that he's on the lists and he's in the
And
documents.
a while back, if you check out video, a couple of on a lesser note, which made me laugh, uh, a couple of people who played golf with Trump, who were celebrities, said that he cheated,
Yeah,
and then
and then the video recently of him cheating came out.
this week of him cheating.
Yeah, that
So
was funny.
there's yeah, I thought it was fun. There's no, because supposedly, he's approaching my age. He's 79. I mean, I'm 81. Uh,
But Biden was too old.
yeah. Pine's too old, but he's still a big, strong guy. He can hit the
Sh-
ball a mile, and
That's not strength. That's just mechanics.
yeah,
If a toddler like uh, it has nothing to do with strength. It has everything to do with mechanics and speed.
mm,
The club is light as hell. So long as he can rotate fast enough, he doesn't need the strength. He just needs the strength to stand up.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's why when I tried to that's why when I was golfing, the in high school, the coaches were like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be perfect." And because it had nothing to do with my power. We can learn to get more power, but off rip because of my height, I would automatically be at an advantage because I have more swing.
yeah. I always said you had more swing.
Yeah, thanks. Don't say that. That's not right. That's not right. But like at the end of the day, the country is not doing well. We're at the 250 year mark, right? No empire has lasted more than 250 years. The country is not crumbling, but we're not doing great. The job market is awful. Housing market is awful. I think it's in the worst it's ever been. There's been more sellers than buyers. The gap between them is so large. It's like larger than it's ever been historically. Um, Everything's more expensive. RFK Jr.'s firing medical experts to put his loyalists in. People are not going to be able to get medication. People are getting kicked off of Medicaid. They're canceling weather satellites and funding to weather. They're canceling goddamn PBS as if PBS has done anything other than promote Elmo. Uh, I, I'm generalizing there.
Well, the next thing they may say is Elmo was a communist.
Well, yeah, they're already going after. They're already doing that with CBS, but like there's so many problems, so many things going on.
Yep.
You
So,
when you take away, right? Like you keep the public happy with bread and circus. Currently our bread is being our circus is being taken away, right? Streaming services are too expensive. People can't afford to go out and eat and go and do things. We are on the verge of losing our bread. People have very little to lose right now in America, specifically. We just saw a man in Manhattan go into a building and go after Blackstone, a CEO of Blackstone,
mhm.
attempting to go after people who were part of the NFL and various people. And he just ended his own life in the building. When people have less to care about, they have less to lose. If they have less to lose, they have more motivation to do things like that. I'm not advocating for it. I'm not saying it's a good thing. What
Yeah,
I
there's
am
another
saying
level. There's another level of crazy.
but it's not about crazy, it's desperation. Because if you are watching everyone around you lose their homes, unable to afford food, unable to afford healthcare, as Bezos buys his third yacht, as Mark Zuckerberg gets another hotel, as Leo DiCaprio opens up a hotel in Israel, and Mark Zuckerberg opens a hotel in Hawaii, and Oprah blocks off a road during a tsunami. I hope you know that happened.
Yes.
Oprah owned an
Yeah.
entire road, and
Yeah.
it was the one road out. The other way around, there was two roads. The other one was everyone. If everyone took that, they would have been dead. The It cut the time from like a day's trip to 2 hours, and she had it blocked off by cops until enough people were there, angry, yelling, and pleading, and she begrudgingly opened it up. When you have things like that, and they have the audacity to live in America and the audacity to vote for more for their pockets, the people have less to lose. People have less. Because truly, what does someone like that, what does someone with nothing care about? If they have access to their Second Amendment, what do they
Yeah.
care about? What they have no, they can't watch their favorite TV shows that keep them nullified in their house. They can't even afford food to keep them in their house, to keep them fat.
Mhm.
They don't even have a job. So now they got too much time on their hands. They don't have a job, or they have a job that pays them so little that it's not worth working. and now they're going to lose their health care whether they have a job or not. So and now their mortgages are going up, electrical's going up because RFK Jr. is allowing all the crap to go on, and we're defunding scientific advancements and environmental advancements and anti-solar, anti-wave, anti-wind for coal. Uh,
Yeah, but again, what really, really bothers me is uh, with people being sent out of our country. Again, if it's criminals, I don't mind.
the problem is you are not the
But,
the problem
but
is it's not criminals. They're not getting due
no, no, no.
process. They're just simply identifying people and saying, "Oh, well, like this and this," and they're lying in court. They're
Yeah,
lying in court.
what
Some of
bothers
them,
me, there are people here who have been here. They may have come here illegally, but they've been here 10 years. They've been working jobs.
yeah,
They've been paying taxes.
yes,
They've been good Americans.
yeah,
Uh, Hopefully, some passed the citizenship test. Maybe some couldn't, and they're in danger.
yeah. And you know what I'd also love to add? We talk about 3,000 deportations a day or detainments a day, right? I'd pay good money to see them detaining and deporting anyone who's not brown. I haven't seen, what about all the Russians that are here? What about all the people from Europe, all the Canadians, all the Europeans, all the Polish, anyone? Anyone who's not of Spanish or Muslim descent. I have
Yeah,
not seen a single person
good
outside of
point.
one article. I made a video on this recently. One article, a Canadian who was a criminal. Dude was a criminal and a drug addict and a drug seller.
Good
Canadian
point.
detained, died in ICE's hands. Now, him dying in ICE's hands is horrendous. Doesn't matter what he did. He should not have died in ICE's hands. That shows you how little care they're taking, how little care they're taking of these people. Aside from him, I have not seen a single thing. I've not seen a single video, and I'm watching videos daily because that's my job. I do news and commentary. I have not seen a single thing.
Have you seen
Anything.
anything where the Russian gangs that are in our country have been deported?
No,
No.
no.
I
But that's my
remember,
point. That's like, so my point is your argument of saying, well, as long as we get the criminals, it's never been about the criminals. It has never been about the criminals. It is strictly and specifically about the brown people and the black people. That's it.
well,
Because
I better stay out of the sun.
no, the because like it's just so many, it's so obvious. And unfortunately, the people who support him also don't want these people in this country, not because they're criminals, but because they just don't want these people in this country because they want something that is more homogenous, shall we say. Uh,
Milky.
yeah, but
Okay.
it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with them being criminals. It's the
Oh,
same. The that is a scapegoat, a proxy for getting the rest of them.
well, I would love him to do what he said. Let's get the criminals out.
That's an objective thing that like since the beginning of time is an obvious factor. If someone does something wrong, they should be punished. That's unfortunately we've established that they're criminals for hire, but the politicians, they're not going to get rid of a lot of these guys. For one, because then they lose their buying power. If they get rid of the criminals and they ran the whole thing on criminals, what do they have to get reelected? If
Okay. So,
that's that it, not to mention they themselves are criminals and they profit off of these criminals and so on and so forth, right? You you solve the problem and now you have to find a new problem and they don't want to do that. It's a lot easier to sustain and just keep doing that because that's what a lot of Democratic parties do. They say they're going to fix something, they do a little tweak or they don't do anything at all, and then the Republicans come into play and they're like, "Oh, look, see, we need to fix this now." And then they get in power and they don't do anything.
okay,
Like
Peter, let me bring back to Epstein, and we'll curtail this. What is the name of the game where all the pieces of wood
Jenga?
What?
Jenga.
Yeah. So we're playing Jenga here, okay, with our country. That's
Yeah.
what we're really doing. As soon as we pull one out, we look what's going to be the next thing to fall. And that's going to happen. Uh, and unfortunately, I do believe that before we get to a good winner and it gets to the bottom, I think Epstein and then a few other bad things are going to happen, and the whole thing is going to collapse.
Yeah, I agree. I think America is in a very difficult spot right now, and I think we are at a very chaotic and crumbling spot. And like I said, because so many people have such little to lose, and we are losing more and more each day.
Yeah, look at
w-
copper. Copper was down 20% 2 days ago or 3 days ago. First time in 40 years it was down that much. Money's going to be devalued.
Right. And so between all of those things, the Epstein files is a catalyst or can be a catalyst for a massive uprising because again, if he releases it and it's highly redacted, problem. If he doesn't release it at all, big problem. And
Okay, how many
it
pieces of
it
wood is it going to take?
huh?
How many things is it going to take?
I
Like,
think I think we're at the point in Jenga where where there's a lot of them stacked up top and you've got three or four at the bottom that are just one and they're stacked on each other, right? It's just the ones crossed and they're sort of balancing. I think one of those ones at the bottom is Epstein. I don't think it's the one thing that's going to topple it necessarily, but I think it has the potential to catalyze some mass movements depending on what is found in these documents because like I said, too many people they have almost nothing to lose anymore and uh,
okay,
it'll justify certain people to go after because there's some crazy people out there that are saying whoever's on that list they're going to go after and so on and so forth. uh
yeah. So,
I think it's going to be a catalyst. I think it's going to be a little push, and whether this push leads to a massive thing or this push leads to something else, and then it snowballs, we'll see. But I do think that we need like talking about this is important and keeping it in mind. And when the documents come out, you can be sure that we are going to talk about it.
yep. And thank you to everybody for all those views
Yeah,
on
our
that.
last video did really good. I appreciate everyone who's listening and hanging out.
Yeah. So it's kind of a long podcast, but let's say be well, and hopefully there won't any be new problems. There won't be new problems in the next 2 weeks.
There
That
will be.
there will be. Yeah,
There will
yeah.
be. It's not about the
I like this
problems are going
Jenga.
to come. Problems are
I
going to
like the
come.
Jenga analogy. Yeah, I like that Jenga analogy.
Problems are going to come. It's how you react to them. That's it. Problems are going to come whether you like it or not. They're always going to come. Don't expect the worst, but
Okay.
always be expect the best, prepared for the worst type concept.
Thank you for
So,
watching.
thanks for watching. Hope you guys
Peace
have
out.
a good
Peace
time.
out.
Peace out.